Hey guys, welcome back to Nick's Reviews. Today we're going to be taking a look at a 2019 Toyota Camry. This one is the Ascent Sport Hybrid. So yeah, we'll jump in today, talk about the features and what it's like to drive, and yeah. So we're taking a look at the front of the Camry now, and straight away you can tell it's a hybrid because of the the iconic blue Toyota logo. You can always tell straight away that it's the hybrid. And yeah, this is the current design of the Camry. This one's obviously a 2019, but the design carries on till what it is currently now. So, it's a good looking car and nice angles and stuff like that. And for this one, you've got daytime running lights here, and you've got like a front little diffuser here, which I've heard from the owner that when you're going over driveways and things like that, you can scrape it. It's a bit low. So I just want to quickly talk about the parking sensors on this car. So it's got front and rear parking sensors, but it's a bit interesting because they've only got sensors on the corners of the car. So one here and one on the other corner, and it's the same on the back. And it's a bit strange because most car manufacturers have four. You've got the two in the middle and the two on the corners. And the problem with this car having just the two on the corners is that when something's directly behind you or directly in front of you, sometimes it can't pick it up. And so, it might not beep at you when you're reversing or going forward. So that's a bit of a complaint with this car. So this car here has the 2.5 litre inline 4 cylinder. So this makes around 160 kilowatts of power, which is really good. Also has the hybrid drivetrain attached to it as well. So yeah, it makes great power and it's super efficient as well. I think the combined fuel rating is 4.2 litres per 100 Ks, which is really, really good. And that's why you really buy these cars, because they're really efficient and bulletproof reliability. In other countries, you do actually have a V6 version of this car, like in North America, but in Australia, I think they discontinued that in 2021. So it's a bit of a shame, but this car has plenty of power anyway, so you're not really missing out. So you've got keyless entry with this car. So all you have to do is put your hand into the door like that and it unlocks. And then if you want to lock it, all you need to do is tap these two little lines here and that'll lock the car, and that's it. So now we're in the back of the Camry, and just want to talk about a few things. So as I mentioned before, you've got the parking sensors on the corners. So you can see here clearly, it's a bit harder to tell on the front, but you can see here that there's none on the middle, but you've got the two on the corners here. And yeah, like I said, it makes parking a bit harder when it's like that, but is what it is, I guess. And then you've got like a cool little diffuser down here. This is the sport model. And the thing I like about these current Camrys is that they have the badging spelt out here, which a lot of car manufacturers are doing now these days. Obviously Lexus do it, but it's nice to see it spaced out like this in big letters. It looks good, looks modern. You've also got these cool little vents here. I don't think they're functional, but they look really cool, and they only come on the sport model. And also, how you can tell that it's a sport model, you've got dual tip exhausts here, which look really cool. And yeah, it all really pieces together and looks really good. So now we're in the interior of the Camry, and it's a bit of a cliche to say, but it really is a nice place to be in this car. You've got this being the Ascent Sport. This is about midway in the range. So you've got leather wrapped steering wheel, you've got nice leather here in the dashboard, and you've got some really nice brown stitching here in the dashboard, and then brown accents in the seat. Just the cockpit's really good because I always love this about cars that do this. It really hugs you in, and everything's easy to reach, and the center console is nice and high up, and great driving position, and you just hugged in, and it's nice, and it's really good. You've got some cool little storage cubbies in this car. You've got like a hidden one here just underneath this tray, which you can slide open like that, which is really good. And I believe on other trim levels, this can be a wireless charger. And then also you've got a massive center console here, so got a big opening here, fairly deep storage area here, which is good. In terms of inputs here, you've got a 12-volt socket here. And then you've also got a auxiliary port and USB-A port, which is good. You don't have any other connections in the center console, not in the glove box or anything like that. So the infotainment in this Camry is the previous generation, so it's a bit older now, and definitely shows. So it's not as responsive as Toyota's current system, and But you know, it does have Apple CarPlay and I think Android Auto, which probably will be used most of the time. But that's what it looks like, and you know, you do have navigation and things like that, and phone connectivity, which is good. This is what Apple CarPlay looks like. So it's pretty responsive. It's nice. It's nice to have in here, and the screen's about 8 inches, I think. So it's a good screen. Just on the center console again, you've got your cup holders here with some nice teeth that'll hold your drink in. You got your shifter here, which is really nice and feels good in the hand. Nice leather gaiter here. Then you've got your drive modes as well, EV mode, and then your parking hold here. Then your actual electronic parking brake here. So with the drive modes, when you're changing it, you can see it in the center here. So sport mode lights up red there at the bottom. That's how you know you're in there. So this is the steering wheel in the Camry. So you've got a bunch of buttons on here. So you can see you've got control here to cycle through the different menus in the center, in the gauge cluster. You've got controls to answer phone calls and your volume and things like that. And then you've also got all your cruise control buttons here. This car does have radar guided cruise control and lane keep assist, which is nice. And then other things like track select, which is good. So you've got electric seats which in this car, but it's only on the driver's side. But you do have lumbar support here, and you've got controls for the backrest and the bottom here. And you got no memory settings, but at least there is electric seats for the driver. So now we're in the back seat of the Camry, and you know, these cars are known for having great rear leg room, and they're a staple family sedan, and it definitely shows back here. So I've got a great amount of leg room and toe room, things like that. Headroom as well. You know, you've got the center armrest here with a couple cup holders. You've also got some air vents back here for rear passengers, which is really good. You've got some storage in the back of the seats. You know, you've got some cup holders here as well in the door cards. Yeah, it's a nice place to be back here. Now onto the boot and trunk space of the Camry. So just showing you how to unlock it with the key there. You hold it down and it pops right open, almost like it's power operated, but it's not. So you've got about 520 litres of space in this Camry here. I believe the Ascent petrol has a bit less because it has a full-size spare, whereas this one has a space saver. But you can see there as well, you've got buttons there to access the back row to push it down and create some more space, which is really good. Just a few other things to show you about the car. This is what the reversing camera looks like. And then to the right of that, you've got your boot release as well. And then just taking a look at the gauge cluster again, you've got this neat little graphic here that shows you when your doors open, and it's got a picture of a little Camry, which is cool, and a kind of digitized little road. So that looks cool there in the center screen. So we're driving the Camry now, and you can probably hear it's pretty much silent. So I think up to 40 Ks the car is completely in EV mode, which is really good. So yeah, you can barely hear the thing coming, which is really good in it, and it helps with the fuel economy, obviously, having the hybrid drivetrain. Yeah, 4.2 litres every 100 Ks, which is just amazing. So yeah, once you get over 40 Ks, the combustion engine kicks in, and you know, it's got some decent power to it. So 160 kilowatts, it's really good. You know, it's a shame we don't get the V6 here in Australia, but you really don't need it. This car's got some great power, and yeah, it's a nice car to drive. It's so smooth and it's really good. So that wraps up the video for this 2019 Toyota Camry. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Uploading a bit more frequently this time, which is good. So yeah, stay tuned for the next one. Thanks guys.